What's up, everybody? And today I wanted to talk about the Wolverine gameplay that we got from Sony's State of Play. Now, two pertinent things before we really get into it, and I don't know why this wasn't in the gameplay that we saw. So, first things first, there was an interview on Eurogamer, and they basically talked to the game or the director of like gameplay or something like that, and he was saying, "quote that this is a level by level experience. There is, they're not going back to a home pay or a home base." It is very story driven, like momentum forward. So if you're looking for a Spider-Man experience from this game, you are not going to get it. This is very like story mission driven, at least based on what he's saying. The second thing is about the backstory of the game itself, and this was on a Sony blog post. And they were saying like mutants aren't really a thing, or there is no X-Men. There was a Team X that Wolverine was a part of. And he's kind of rejoining it like 3 years prior to this. But other than that, like mutants aren't really like a thing that society knows. This is kind of a select group. Those are the two things that I don't know why that wasn't like in what we saw. Me personally, I would have had like a little voiceover explaining that for the first 30 seconds and being like, all right, everybody, and now here's the gameplay, right? Let's start off with the gameplay because that's what we actually saw, and then I'll loop back into the other two things. When we saw Wolverine last time, I was already excited for this game, and I could already tell based on like the little things that we were seeing how the game was going to move. Seeing a little more of a deep dive this time around. I still understand what this game is. You're gonna mash square, you're gonna hit triangle, light heavy attack, yellow attacks, you're gonna block slash parry, red attacks, you're gonna dodge out of the way. So there wasn't anything particularly in this that made me go like, oh, this is like brand new, something exciting that I wasn't expecting really. And even his berserker mode, when it's kind of like black and white, it was just like, all right, that's cool. But again, you're Wolverine, so you expect, I'm gonna run around slash and fuck people up, and that's what we're getting here, and I'm excited for it. But I do wish that there was, a little something extra. I did enjoy that we saw that there might be some sort of like level involvement in terms of kills where, he kicks the guy into the forklift and, it goes through the spikes. Like that kind of stuff is cool. But when I think about like the Spider-Man game, right, it is you start to swing and the music swells and it's like, oh yeah, and the way Spider-Man moves around. And, a lot of people think about like Batman, but they forget that, Spider-Man also has gadgets as well. So once you get out the gadgets in that first game, it's like, oh, okay, I'm really feeling like Spider-Man. And it's like, okay, well, what does Wolverine feel like? He's gonna, slice through people. He's angry. He's yelling. And, he's just gonna, you send him in and he's gonna do the thing and slice people up. And so what I'm hoping for is that, like, maybe when you do your, berserker mode, maybe like there's like some rock music or grunge or whatever that starts like, some sick beat, get me like hyped up. You're clearly able to, cut through people. That's not a problem for this game. Yeah, that's kind of, I was surprised about, and I don't know why, but it's just something I truly didn't think about. But when they were like, oh yeah, if you get the deluxe edition, you can change your outfits, obviously, but then you can change your claws. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like I didn't think about, because you only think about metal claws and bone claws, but I guess there's the different ones. Sometimes it's, if you look at the comics, sometimes his blades are a little more like needly, and sometimes it's straight up like kitchen knives coming out of him. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. Now get into the stuff that I brought up at the end, right? So mutants don't really exist, and there is a Team X, but there's not really the X-Men. I think this leads into why Jean looks like she's coming out of a spy movie or something like that, and it's just like, why does she look like that? Oh, of course, if the X-Men aren't real, then she wouldn't have any of the iconic suits. She would just kind of be like, incognito. And then also, if you look at the hack that happened, right, it was saying that eventually Insomniac was going to lead to an X-Men game. So this makes sense of like, hey, let's not put ourselves in a box. Let's, make mutants new. And then, they have the whole, toy box to play with all the X-Men, and they're not really like leaving anything out, right? And it's like, okay, cool. I can, see the end of this game where, Professor Xavier comes up and he's like, Logan, I'm putting a team together. And you can kind of see like, it leaving moving into an X-Men game. The other thing of this game being linear, right, is like, I hope this game doesn't stay too long, right? I don't want like a Last of Us 2 experience where I'm like, okay, like let's end it, right? And I don't think this game is going to be that. I do hope it is like, 12 to 15 hours. But that being said, $70 for, let's say it is like 13 hours, right? Somewhere in the middle. I can see a lot of people being upset, and I think rightfully so. Like, you don't want to pay that amount of money just for a game to be like, and a game that is linear focused, like the director was saying, like, okay, do I really want to pay $70 for a game that is this short? As of this recording, 007 First Light is out. That game is like 17 to 18 hours. Granted, you can replay because part of the fun of that game is, using different gadgets and trying a different way to get through the same level. But if you're someone who just plays it once, there's a lot of people online that are like, $70 for like an 18-hour game. Like, what are we doing? Right. And so if this game comes out, and again, it is short, even like max like 15 hours, like, I think it's justified for people to be like, why am I going to pay this much for a game that's not really worth my time based on, the amount of money I have to spend. So I get it. Me personally, like, I'm for sure gonna play this game, and then I'll pick a different suit and different claws and then play it again. And then whenever they come out with, New Game Plus, I'll give it one more, go around and then probably call it a day. But if you're not like that and you're just, you play the story once and then you're like, all right, I'm good. Maybe I'll come back someday. Maybe I'm not. Like, I can see, if this game is too short being a problem. But again, I also don't want this game to be too long either. The last thing I want to talk about is, of course, I was saying that I like that you can, you take damage, right? You start to see his skin, and, you can see like the muscle underneath, and then you get to the skeleton. And, people were like, oh, his suits were regenerating. Like, that's so weird. But, like, one, it's a video game. And then two, a reason that I will allow it is because Insomniac is known for doing so much with, costumes. And the fact that they were getting other claws, too. It's like, is it really reasonable for them to go through each individual costume and be like, okay, what does this look like at 25% and or 50% and 75%, right? And then have it play throughout the level at like that amount of damage? Like, no, that's way too much work. That's way too much money. Just have the suit, like, come back. Who cares? It's a video game. And I'd rather have that happen and have a bunch of suits rather than, them wasting or spending so much time on like making each suit look like accurately, based on the damage. Could they probably do it? Sure, but it's because it's a video game. It's like, yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. So again, I am excited for this game. I do plan on getting the deluxe edition. I personally don't need to see any more of this game. I do like that it is, mutants aren't really a thing yet. I don't like Jean Grey's look, but I mean, it is what it is, right? And I am hoping this is a decent sized game and it's not something that, like, it goes by too fast and you're just like, what the hell? Why did I spend money? I should have waited till this was on sale, right? But all of that being said, let me know down below if you are excited for this game. Like, how long of a game would you want for this Wolverine experience? And, anything else you kind of got from, what we've already seen and this. Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.